In today's episode, we'll be talking about the events surrounding King Ezekiel throughout Season 7 and Season 8, and how they may or may not foreshadow future events. A lot of the examples that I'll be giving are from Season 7, Episode 16, and Season 8, Episode 4, so spoiler warning if you're not caught up. The first example of foreshadowing comes when King Ezekiel and the Kingdomers arrive in Alexandria, and he yells the line, "Alexandria will not fall, not on this day." This turns out to be true, from a certain point of view, as Alexandria doesn't exactly fall on that day, but it does later on. The next act of foreshadowing that follows Ezekiel is when he speaks to Carol within a flashback. He states that before the outbreak, he made a choice to jump into a pit to save Shiva from death, and wonders who he would be if he hadn't. A similar incident occurs near the end of the episode, as the trio, Carol, Jerry, and Ezekiel make their way home to the kingdom, and on their journey, they're saved by Shiva, who gets surrounded by walkers. This gives Ezekiel a chance to jump in and save her, but he couldn't. This shows us who he would be in the other outcome if he hadn't saved her earlier on. The next two examples come from his epic speech at the beginning of the episode, where he inspires his people to fight for the greater good. Some words spoken were, "We will fight, and we will bleed, and yet I smile." And the other, "We will face men who are cornered into their roles and circumstance, some desperate murderers thrilled by blood. We shall end them all." The first quote foreshadows the death of the Kingdomers that followed him into the battle, in which they did shed blood. It also shows that even though through all the pain and loss, that he will smile again. And he does. The next quote may or may not foreshadow the Whisperers in a way. In the comic, there's this young Whisperer named Lydia who is basically forced to be a part of their group and is basically forced to commit all the atrocities that they do. It also foreshadows that the rest of them are savages who do nothing but kill people. The final example that I have today is the moment where the random savior named Gunther, I think that's his name, is when he captures Ezekiel and says that he's going to hang his body on the fence of the sanctuary, but instead of that, he believes that putting his head on a spike would be a much more fitting death for him. Now, I know that the show doesn't always follow the comics, but if they do end up going down the same route, I believe that this could have foreshadowed the king's untimely demise at the community fair. In a way, this could work. King Ezekiel's dream is to bring the communities together with this fair that he's creating, and if he does end up dying the same way as in the book, then he could, in a way, bring everyone together and help create the happily ever after that he speaks about. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that the events that surround the king are foreshadowing, or just coincidences? I'm not sure about how the fair will go, for sure, but I'm certain that it will lead whispers into screams.